Good evening, folks. We are live once again. Let me get everything switched over and loaded up, and we will resume the work on some pixel sprites for today. All right, should have video. Let me turn on BGM. We're going for the mellow playlist today. This is a royalty-free playlist that I will use every once in a while, and that should serve for today. All right, so what are we working on in this session? I wanted to do sort of a sequel to the pixel art stream we did last time, just because I had some ideas in mind that I wanted to work through. After this, for the next drawing stream, I'll probably switch back to regular drawing and see if we can work on some of our other projects that are going. But what you're looking at here on screen is the line art for a piece that I was working on off stream. I didn't do this one last time, but I figured I'd finish it today since this is what we're going to be doing anyway. And this will be a good exercise in not only playing around with pixel designs, but the idea of subtle variation versions, which I can't remember if we've done on any of these on stream. Honestly, can't remember since we haven't really done a ton of pixel art. But what we're going to do is we're going to finish this particular one. It needs to be colored and lined. And then we're going to draw some alternate versions using the original as a base, with the idea of changing like elemental affinities is the easiest way I like to think of it. Kind of like a subspecies if you played Monster Hunter. And so we'll define whatever quote unquote elemental affinity this thing has when it's done. And then we'll draw, we'll see how long it takes to finish one alternate and see. Basically, we'll be taking the design and changing things about it to make it look more distinct, changing its color, changing details and whatnot. And so this will be kind of an iteration exercise, which will probably yield some interesting results. So the line art is mostly, well, it's completely done. I was just doing some last minute cleanup while the stream was loading. If I see any other stray extra pixels, especially on the outline, and I'll delete them out here, but I think this one's more or less ready to color. So if we jump down to another layer, this four-legged creature, I don't know what it's called. I don't usually think up names for these things right away, but this one to me would be kind of like some sort of maybe canine or feline mix of attributes, but its elemental affinity would be like stone or earth, hence the spikes on its head and on its back. We want to make these kind of like crystalline colored, like a mineral or an ore. Hey, Red Dragon's here. What's up, Red Dragon? How's it going? I saw you were streaming Lies of P earlier. I was at work, but I saw the notice. How's that game been going? I hear it's hard. You're a few sessions in now? Isn't there DLC coming out for that too? It's on my list to pick up at some point when I feel like torturing myself with another Souls-like type game. Okay, what if we went for more of kind of like a mix of earth tones, and then we give maybe the spikes and claws a brighter color for contrast. And Dragon says, Oh, you're still streaming right now? Or you mean you're actively streaming it? Wait, you're still live? What are you doing in my chat if you're live, man? Well, I hope the game is going well. Alright. I'm gonna experiment with some colors here. Let's go for this kind of orange-brown. Could even go more of a red-orange, like a copper-rusted color. You can always adjust levels too. Maybe we go orange, and I need a alternate color for like the underbelly part and this part on the tail. This will be another color too. Maybe go like more reddish. Yeah, kind of like a even more like rusted copper color. This one's gonna have a pretty simple color palette. Now for the claws and the spikes, maybe we go kind of a bright crystal color is what I was thinking earlier. And then for the eye, maybe go kind of like a pale blue color. Maybe a little more blue. We can adjust levels and see. That's not a bad mix. When we create an alternate version, what we're going to do is keep in mind the color palette that we used here and come up with something that's going to be more appropriate to whatever the alt's going to be. No, I don't think I want to veer more towards red. I think it's fine the way it is. Looking at the perspective here, and I think the leg that's obscured in the background, we need to put claws, at least a couple of them poking out here. There we go. And now we can work on shading. If we create clipping mask above, and we just go a little bit darker. I'm looking at the ears. No, I think I'll leave the ears like that. I was thinking about making the inner parts right around here, like a lighter pink color, but we'll leave those the way they are and just shade them. Okay, just like we've done before, we'll assume light source is coming from this direction, shining from the top left. And that's the wrong layer. It's first time tonight. I'm sure it won't be the last. That's also the wrong layer. Two times in a row. I'm gonna be up here. There we go. Okay, let's work our way down the body, and we'll do all the colors that are the same shade to start, and then we'll go from there. We'll do the darker red sections first, or second, and then we'll do the claws. If there are any sections I want to fix, I can just do that. I think what we'll do, the alternate color palettes are going to be, or alternate designs rather, they won't just be color palettes. The shading style or angle is going to be the same, depending on what we change in the details. The patterning is probably going to look a little different, and same thing with the base colors as well. So while I'm doing the basic shading here, which is not the most exciting thing to talk about, since I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, I did have some project updates and stuff that I've been working on. Things that are going to be coming up soon here not necessarily just on the channel, but in general, I finally finished everything I need for the upcoming EP release for 329. And I know I've been talking about it for probably at least several months now, but I finished the album art. I ended up changing my design idea and doing something a bit more simple, but kind of a different approach from what we were talking about on some of the other drawing streams here. But album art is done. I'm going to see if I can get all of the finished tracks submitted to streaming tonight. And so the EP might be live next week. My goal is to have it live for the end of the month. But because it's a smaller release, it shouldn't take too long for streaming services to process it and post it. And I'm not going to do a launch stream for 329. I'm just going to post the video. I'll post it in the Discord when it's live, since it's, again, it's a bit shorter than the other ones. But it'll be good to get that one done, since I've been talking about it for a while and just was not happy with my concept designs for the art itself, which is always the problem when I do it myself. But once that one's live, I can start thinking about what I want to do next. I get the feeling the music release schedule is going to be a little more sporadic this year. As I think I mentioned when we wrapped up last year, I don't want to be on a specific release schedule for the BGM stuff, because that tends to create kind of more of a mass production mindset, and the point isn't to just churn out stuff for the sake of churning it out. So even if it means less stuff gets released, if I have better ideas, I'd rather it be stuff that I'm more interested in releasing than just putting stuff out for the sake of putting stuff out. That being said, there's quite a few recorded tracks that I've done offline and from the jam streams that I still need to pull off of my loop and record. I think by the time I do that, I'll most likely have enough for a few future releases as well. I've just been rather busy with life in general, aside from content creation. As far as other things stream-wise on the channel here, unless something goes catastrophically wrong at my job tomorrow, we should be streaming the next session of SMT5 again, finally. I think my plan tomorrow is going to be clearing the dungeon that we kind of left off at right near the end, and then I'm going to be spending a stream doing side quests, which I originally was going to do offline, but I figured now we'll just go through it on stream and see what some of the side mission stuff is, since there might be some good fights, things to unlock. And then we'll see where that puts us. We're getting close to the end of SMT5 Vengeance. I think, depending on how tomorrow goes, the next session, we're probably 1 or 2 away from the end. And then we'll be continuing with Monster Hunter this weekend. I just beat the quote-unquote story of high rank in Wilds, so now I'm pretty much at the end game, though I haven't done a whole lot yet. I'm still trying to unlock stuff from the NPCs. But I think we'll most likely might be switching things up after this week, depending on how much I think there is to talk about. Since, like we did with Rise and Sunbreak, the plan is to be doing stuff with Monster Hunter throughout, just constantly, but maybe not every week. I think, depending on what we do in this week's session, I might go switch to every other week or so we can mix in other games and other playthroughs. until the next update comes out. The next update is due out in May, or the first official title update's due out in, not May, April. I think the beginning of the month. And so when that happens, we'll be able to jump back in, check out Mizutsune, how that fight works, and the other new stuff. But we'll be continuing to do Monster Hunter stuff every once in a while, once I feel like we've gotten to a good spot. Another thing I was thinking about just today, actually, since it's been a while as far as streaming content goes, I was thinking of bringing back tier lists. One interesting thing that I wouldn't mind looking into, since I'm sure someone's updated or created one now, is to do an updated Monster Hunter monster tier list with the new monsters added in Wilds. But I haven't quite committed to doing that just because I know the game is still relatively new. And for people who are thinking about picking it up, talking about the entirety of the Monster Hunter creature roster that's in that game might be spoilery for people who either haven't picked up Wilds, or are actively going through it. But I know when I did it, I did kind of like an unofficial ranking. I think it was maybe 2 years ago now. I think it was before Sunbreak had all its content. So there's some stuff that was added in there that wasn't part of whenever I did the last ranking of things for Monster Hunter. So I don't know. I'm gonna think about that, because one, if I were to rank the entirety of the cast updated to include endgame Sunbreak stuff and Wilds, that's probably like a 3-hour stream. There's a lot to talk about and rank. I'll have to think about that, but I'm thinking about bringing back tier lists. Maybe I'll put something in the community Discord. But my thought was, if people had specific tier lists they wanted me to cover on stream, then I'd be willing to take suggestions from folks. Okay, let's save this one. Let me save this where it needs to go, and then we will look at what we're going to do with the next version. Alright, so original version of this particular design. Again, I don't know what this thing's going to be called. But original design, if you think about basic elemental affinities, which is how I tend to classify some of these in order to keep them organized. If you think of fire, water, wind, and stone elements, the sort of basic 4 traditional elements for a lot of lore and design purposes, this one would be a stone element creature. What we're going to do, let's do the quote-unquote opposite. Which would be wind. If fire and water are opposites, then stone and wind technically I think would be opposites on the other side. So we're going to take this design and we're going to change it and adapt it with an iteration to make it in line with the wind element. And so the base sort of build of the creature is going to be the same, but we have free reign to change a lot of other details in order to give it features and design elements that are going to match the new element. And I'm going to start with the shape of the head. And give it a little more of a more narrow shape to the head. I think we'll keep the ears where they're at. But what I was thinking we change as far as a major design element would be maybe to give it more of kind of like wispy tendrilish. Maybe not tendrils is the right word. Kind of wispy trailing parts in the fur. So instead of the sharp kind of crystal ridges, maybe more of kind of like a flowing, like a mane running along the bat. Thought about wings, but it might be a little too extra. What we'll do is we'll rough in sort of the different elements and then kind of do cleanup on the lines like we normally do. Color assignment should be relatively easy, but I'm going to have to sort of edit and delete the color layer, since if we unhide it, it will be overlaid from the original designs. We'll have to fix all that. One thought I had, to make it a little more distinct, is we change the shape of the tail. Instead of kind of this billowing, floofy, like a canine type tail, make it a little more streamlined. Like a whip-like tail instead. Oh, I missed a stray pixel down here. I'll update that. Could also give some sort of trailing edges on the hands and feet too. And I think I'll change the pattern of the underside too. Just gonna get rid of that altogether. Now we just need to clean up the borders of this part running along the head and the back. I think I'm gonna add like these texture lines going through here like this. It's gonna kind of look more like a fin. So we'll see once we actually get around to adding color. I'm thinking for this one, since again, considering like a wind element, probably a mix of yellows and lighter greens. Maybe if I feel really ambitious, we'll do kind of like a striped pattern to set this one apart from the other one. Maybe for the next variant we can change the shape of the claws. And we'll see. We'll see once this one is done. We'll compare it to the original. Alright, I'll save my progress too. Wouldn't want to lose all this tedious work of deleting pixels. Okay, let's see if we missed any sections here. And have this one flaring up a little bit more. Okay, I think that'll work. Let me do another quick double check. So I'll see if I missed any other sections when I'm actually filling everything down with color. So the easiest way to deal with this is probably just to delete out all of the stray areas. Fortunately, the alt version is not dramatically different. It's missing some stuff on the back, and the head's a little different, but everything else more or less is not going to be too difficult to clean up. Should be able to just mass delete all this stuff. And same thing on the head. Let's clear out the main sections this way. Could have just deleted the whole layer and started from scratch, but I want to keep what was there before because some of the stuff we can hold over with the shading. So for a base palette, thinking again wind colors, maybe like a pale yellowish color. Maybe likewise we go green. For the sections on the back and the claws, go like a darker tone, pretty standard for like teeth or claws. And I had an idea on how to make the color a little more distinct. It's gonna make shading a bit more annoying, but if we have like a type of street coloring, I don't know what this is called, this type of marking, but on the hands and feet, get a little lighter. Rather than do stripes, which maybe we can do if we did another one of these, but we have this unique coloring on the hands and feet. I'll give it some contrast, which means it's going to affect what we have here on the shading layer, and the shading layer is going to be all over the place. So first we can do the same thing, clear out all the stuff that was there from the previous version, and then for things like the hands and feet, we're going to have to update. And same thing on the heads, as the head's a different shape. And the bits on the tail will be different as well. So let's see, on the shading layer, what we'll do is we'll go a bit like a more kind of muted, darker shade of yellow, so it shows up a bit better. Some sections will be easy to form fill, and others will have to do manually because the patterning is different. we'll do all the yellow sections first, then we'll do the lighter pink sections. That way I'm not jumping back and forth between colors. We'll just have to make sure we don't overlap with the pink sections, since those will get their own shadowing highlight layer. Okay, now for the hands and feet. I'll go a little bit darker, kind of like a magenta-ish shadow color. And for the back, looking at the base color palette, the back is kind of really close to the coloring on the original version. I think I'm going to change the tint slightly. Let's go more of like a green yellow, or a brighter color like that. Yeah, it's a bit more bright, but that contrasts a bit better and doesn't look quite the same. This kind of off seafoam color of the stone element one. I like that a little bit better. Keep in mind the light source. And that should be all right. Now I just have to do the claws. Because the angle and the highlighting for the claws is pretty much the same, I'm just going to form fill those. Now I just have to shade the eye, and then we are done with the alt version here. Okay, so this is the second variation. Again, going for wind element, now we can compare it to the one we started with. So basic body type is the same. The torso, head shape is different. The tail shape is different. And the big noteworthy difference is most likely just the things on the back, like the fin versus the spiky ridges, and then obviously the color palette. I don't think I want to adjust any of the shades on the wind one. We'll leave it the way it is. Can actually overlay these pretty much on top of each other. Since we're not changing pose, we're not changing really anything the way the basic shape is. It's just the design specific things. I kind of want to do another one, but then I have to commit to doing 4 of them. Maybe we'll move on to another one. I can always do that off stream. But right now we have 2 alts, which is a good start. Or original and 1 alt, I guess. So we'll create a brand new folder and work on something different. The other day I was talking with Pups about Pokemon Infinite Fusion because they're playing through it and doing custom sprites for their own game. And it's got me thinking about Infinite Fusion again. I think we talked about it last time I was doing sprite pixel art. But I kind of miss the game, and I miss doing designs for the game too. So we'll see. Maybe we'll return to the playthrough and work through Johto. So what I'm drawing here, I have no idea. We're just going to see what happens. Whatever it is, it has a lot of teeth. think we're veering into slime territory. Alright, I got some ideas on what else to add to this thing, since I don't know if I've done it on stream, but I know I've done a couple creatures that look sort of like this. Same body type. Okay, first thing we'll leave the tongue. Maybe give this thing some drool. We'll see. Original thought was to put eyes kind of all over the body, but I know I've done one. In fact, I think it was on stream because it became the spoopy emote no one ever uses. So rather than do that, we'll have the eyes more up where the quote-unquote face would be. It's gonna be a challenge to properly render what this so it looks like rows of teeth. The cleanup's gonna be kind of annoying, but I should be able to do it. Alright, so now I gotta clean up all the sections. I'm gonna start with the mouth, which is easily the busiest part with all the teeth. I'll work kind of systematically here since there's a lot. I'm actually going to zoom in a bit. I just want to think about what sort of color palette I want to give this thing. I'm thinking we go for kind of like a darker sludge-like color pattern. I think the spoopy one was kind of more like a pink purplish color, so not that. Like a grayish purple, dark purple, not a bright color. Okay, almost done with the teeth. And then I want to put some sort of accent lines on them too. What I'm doing here, since I'm zoomed in this close and I can see it a little better, is I'm adding in some additional teeth in between, since the bottom kind of conveys the rows, but it's a little bit harder to see on the top. Okay, the tongue is done. Now let's add some sort of detail lines to the teeth. Try not to make it too muddled and obscured. It'll be easier to see when it's colored, but until then, I just want to make it look like there's a bit of texture without making it too crowded. I think as we move onto the body, I can zoom out a bit. I don't have to work this close. Yeah, I guess we go top to bottom. Still thinking about the color palette. Not entirely sure what I've decided on yet. I'm gonna have to experiment around with a couple different combinations of colors. Maybe I can look at my archive and see what I've used for things that have a similar sort of design to this one, so I'm not just duplicating color palettes. Her Dragon says, hey there, I'm fully here now. Ah, did you wrap up? How did Liza P go? Trying to think if there's other Souls-like games that are in the works, since it's not a genre I keep super close eye on. There's another one. The name escapes me at the moment, that I did pick up when there's a big Steam sale. One of the recent rounds that was also pretty good. Oh, which one was it? That's gonna bother me now. It was the one that has like the kind of dual world mechanic, which might not be very specific. Oh, what was it called? I just pulled up my Steam list real quick. I know I don't have it installed. What was it called? I know it came out 2 years ago now. I don't think it was 24. I think it was in 23 or maybe 22. I don't remember what the name was. Oh, Lords of the Fallen. That's what it was. That game's still getting updates. For Liza P. Red Dragon says, it's gone good. I like the game, but the delay in the input is driving me mad. Huh. Like the actual command inputs delay, or like the way the combat works has delays built in? Because, you know, with us having played Elden Ring recently, the inputs are really responsive because you have to be fast in those games. I'm assuming like the rhythm is different in Liza P. You think it's more like, well, I guess you haven't played Bloodborne. My question is if it was more like Bloodborne or the older Souls games. Controller delay, huh? That's an intentional design decision? Seems like a weird intentional design decision. Red Dragon says, I know it's not on my side as Wilds doesn't have delay. Huh. I wonder if it's a setting thing. Because that was a built-in part of the game. I know I would have heard people talking about that. Since some of the content creators I follow are big, like, Souls-like players. And I'm sure they would be talking about that if it was, like, a notable part of the design. Well, that's interesting. Have I been doing the Wilds event? I just saw that it went live. Was it yesterday? I haven't. I was talking earlier about how I just beat the final boss at high rank. So I need to go look at that. What are the rewards? What are the rewards for the current event that Wilds is doing? Is it for a cosmetic? I think I saw it goes to like the 25th or something, right? But yeah, I'm in the end game now, so next time I stream it, I'll be trying to gear towards building actual dedicated sets for the weapons. When we finished up last time, I think I had either built some or most of the parts for a mixed set that uses Ebony, Odo, and Jin Dahad parts. That's going to become my main set for Gunlance. But I'm using that Game 8 site to also look at building up things for Lance. I want to do that for duels. And then light bowgun will be coming relatively soon once I figure out which Pierce gun I want. I think Rathalos, regular Rathalos light gun is one of the best for Pierce. The event gives Green Dragon Earring, a couple others. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Still a lot to be done in Wilds, but now we're kind of at the point similar to the way we did Rise and Sunbreak, where we're building around certain objectives. Mostly I just need to keep hunting things. I don't have the decorations I need, since I think the highest rarity unlocks after you beat Arkfeld. So I need to start stacking up tempered investigations and doing all that stuff. I have been playing around at Longsword more, since I know you play Longsword, Red Dragon. That weapon's fun. I suck at it, but it's fun. Super aggro, and I like the counters. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. I'm gonna pull up my archive. I'm not gonna do it on the broadcast here, but I need to look and see on my color paletting. I know I have a design that looks similar to this. Let's see if there's anything else detail-wise I want to add. Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. This one actually looks like kind of an evolution of one of these things I've done before. Its body position is very similar, but it has spikes. Okay, I'm gonna make a change to this one. I'm actually gonna flip it so it's facing the opposite direction. I think I'm gonna go molten pattern and a fire coloring. And maybe go kind of a darker, maybe like an obsidian color for the teeth, and a different color for the spikes. go really light. Maybe like an ivory color for the spikes. That's not bad. It's like a magma slime. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, that's the one. Yeah, I saw that summary in the little news updates yesterday. It talks about glowing orb sword decoration. Yeah, so the glowing orb drops are decorations for the weapons. So it's a mix of I wonder if it's higher tier or higher frequency drops for decorations. Okay, I gotcha. So there's a piece of gear to craft and then decoration drops. Okay, that's gonna be worth farming because I need an artillery level 3 decoration for my gun lance. I know it doesn't say in the event description, Red Dragon, but are you able to find out how rare the drops are? Like what tier rarity they can drop from that? Because if it goes all the way up to the top one, then yeah, I definitely need to farm that. Oh, there's an event schedule. What does that say? Okay, tempered spider. Oh, it's a set of 3. Okay. 5-star difficulty, hunter rank 21 or higher. Okay. And that goes, yeah, to the 25th. All right. I'll have to take a look. If you don't have anywhere that says, I can look it up later about the rarity of the decorations, because I need the level 3 ones. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going in to add shading. We're doing the red sections first. Just like the last couple we did, we're assuming light source coming from the upper left. I wonder, let me see if I can just look up my question on that Wilds event. Let's see. I don't see any immediate posts since that thing just went live. People probably are trying to figure that out. Oh, okay. Were you looking at it too, Red Dragon? I think it's just for sword. Yeah, so I know based on the description that for like the spider one, it's only weapon drops for decorations. And then the Doshagumo one is only armor, the way they've written that description. I'm just curious if the rarity goes all the way up to the rarest ones. Oh, hey, it's the same website that you posted in the Discord. All right, what does it say? Glowing sword. What's the rarity in glowing sword? Glowing orb sword. Oh. It doesn't go up to level 2. Or past level 2. Okay. I guess that makes sense. They wouldn't have the level 3 stuff drop from an event quest with that low of a hunter rank requirement. Okay, that's a little less useful since I could use some level 2 ones because the gun lance I'm going for is one level 3, one level 2, one level 1, I think. Or maybe it's 2 level 3s. I think it's level 3, level 3, level 1. But there are some useful level 2s that I wouldn't mind getting. Okay. What's the next tier called then? This site's pretty helpful. They got good information on here. But what's the appraisal drop for the highest rarity with the level 3s? Like the hybrid level 3s? Mystery Orb is one tier below, I think. Yeah, it's one tier below. But what's the one that's one tier above glowing called? I know I've picked up a couple, I just don't remember the name. Ancient? Oh, okay, alright. Guess we'll have to see when they drop a quest that's going to give those. Probably not for a while, I imagine. Okay, thanks for looking that up, Red Dragon. I should probably poke around that site some more. Even before I get like a lot of the decorations I need for my build. I gotta get Guardian Arkveld to spawn in one of the regions. That's the exact problem you were telling me about the other day. It has not shown up. There's a way, maybe you've seen this already, but there's a way to use points to change the climate, right? Or the season. I've been meaning to look that up too. I'm assuming you have it unlocked by end game. Oh, rest option in the tent. Okay. Does it cycle them through in a progression, or is it random when you do that? Oh, you get to pick. Okay, that's good. So if you want the storm season, you just pick that. If you want it to be plenty, you pick that. Or if you want it to be in fallow. That's handy. I'm still unlocking all the NPCs to do the material gathering. I have half of them unlocked, I think. Need people to get me more honey. Honey and mushrooms. Okay, I gotcha. So you pick time of day and whatever respective season that you want. That's cool. Is it do that for each region or does it do it for all of them? Like if you wanted the ruins to be one, does it switch it to just that one, or can you choose individually? I imagine it's got to be individually. That would make the most sense. I'll just look it up and figure it out. Unless you know off the top of your head, Red Dragon. You don't need to do all your research for me. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be kind of respective. It's fine. I just know the story locks the season to like the storm climate till you get through, I think, Gore. Once you beat Gore, then it cycles again. Oh, you're building for something off the website. That's what the Gore heads for longsword. Nice. I'm assuming it's like high damage, high crit. I'm probably gonna go elemental longsword. I like going elemental on all the fast weapons. But I was in the process of building. I never finished it on stream. It was one of the things that I was gonna do and didn't get around to in Sunbreak. There was a really cool Frostcraft like quick draw set that you made with Valkana parts, and it was based around getting like really fast sheaths for the EI strike on longsword. Looked really cool, but I never got around to building it completely. I don't know if I'm gonna do that in Wilds because I kind of suck at using the draw attack. It's cool, but I am not good with the timing yet. Just like the what do they call it, the Foresight slash, the one that dodges and counters or and whatnot. I'm also not too good with the timing on that one. Alright, I got an idea how to add some flavor to this design. We're gonna give it some drool, but I'm gonna do kind of like molten drool since, again, fire element. I'll put some on the tongue too, to make it extra gross. All right, let's zoom out and take a look at the final results here. Go ahead and save our progress. I think I will do some alternate palettes. We won't do a complete redrawn sprite, but kind of like we've done for some other ones in the past when we've done this on stream. We'll come up with some alternate color palettes to kind of compare. And base design is supposed to be fire affinity. And by playing around with the levels, we should be able to just adjust things. We want to go like a water-based palette. Actually, I'm gonna tint its color a little bit so that the spikes change too. Since they're like white and off-white, they won't actively change with hue and saturation. There. Tint them slightly red. Now when I adjust the levels, yeah, it's subtle. But it does change. So that's a good one for water. If we add another layer on top, do one for wind. We'll do water, fire, wind, stone for the 4. Let's see if this gives me a bit more of a shade to work with on the spikes. No, but the teeth are too much of one color now. Okay, won't do that. I want the teeth to stand out a little. Okay, an interesting mix of greens with the red orange on the tongue. Now for stone element, thinking like earth tones, like a rocky color. Maybe a little more orange. Yeah, that'll work. I don't want it to be just an angry Lovecraftian version of the poo emoji. Yeah, let me move these around so that it's easier to see. Oh no, I didn't say anything directly to you, Red Dragon. I was just talking about the color variations for the different elemental versions that we've got here. I didn't I didn't say anything to you directly. Okay, so we have 4 different elemental variations of the same base design. We started with fire down here. And going clockwise, we have wind element, stone element, and water element. I think that's pretty functional. Let me pull up the one I was thinking of earlier, and you folks on stream can be the judge of whether or not you think these designs should canonically be connected. I'll hide these extra ones. I'm gonna put the main one back in the middle here. Where are you in the archives? There you are. I think scale-wise, this one's a lot smaller too. Yeah. This is, just for the sake of comparison purposes, this one is on a canvas that's, I think, half the size. What is this? 120? So, yeah, about half. The base canvas I'm using here, pixel-wise, is 250 by 250. So this one right here was created on one, again, about half the size. But initially I was thinking, I know I've done at least one that is similar to the one that we're working on here, the red one. And then going even further back into the archives, there was this one from the same scale. This is 120 by 120. But dimension-wise, this one's a little bigger than the green one. So quite clearly, I've had the same idea a couple different times, just slightly different variations. Oh, and I could go pull up the spoopy one. That one's a little different, but still the same sort of idea. There you are. This one also came from a smaller canvas. Same one, 120 by 120. I switched to the 250 by 250 just so I could have more room to work on bigger designs. But these all look like they could be somewhat related. Red Dragon says, also in Monster Hunter, I was dumb and sold my main armor. You sold your main armor piece? By accident, I'm gonna assume? Did you think you were selling like the low rank version and you sold the high rank one? That sucks. They should add the ability to like lock armor sets, and weapons and armor, so you can't do that by accident. Well, I guess that's one mistake you won't make again. The mixed set that I put together, right now it's not fully upgraded for defense yet, but it tops out at just under 300 in defense. So it definitely will serve better, but tempered stuff still hits decently hard. Maybe once everything's fully maxed out, the damage becomes negligible, but so far I have not skated through most of the fights. We'll see though. I hear the tempered Gormagala fight's pretty tough. Imagine tempered Arkfeld is difficult. But we'll see. They said in the first title update next month that some sort of version of a monster is going to come out that's harder than tempered. I don't know if that's going to be like tempered frenzy or like arch tempered, but I guess we'll have to see. People are complaining the game's too easy. I don't think it's going to stay that way. Capcom doesn't ignore what the player base is saying. You watch through all the updates, maybe it'll balance a little bit, but then when the Wilds expansion comes out, inevitably in like a year or so, it's going to be super hard and people are going to be upset and they're going to say it's too hard now. That was what happened in World and Iceborne when people said World was really easy for the most part, and then when Iceborne came out and they added Alatreon, people said Alatreon was too hard. So, and some people said Fatalis. A lot of people said Fatalis was too hard as well. So it's like, what do you want, folks? I'd rather the game be challenging. I'm not going to complain if it's challenging. This means you gotta get good. Okay, let me make sure I save a copy of this one. I don't need to keep these. This was just here for comparison purposes. So let's recap what we did and then we'll get ready to wrap up. I need to go see to dinner soon before it gets too late. So we started with this design that was lined but not colored or shaded. This sort of, I don't know, quadrupedal, vaguely canine-ish animal stone element. We started with this one, finished all the coloring, shading, and then we drew an alternate version with different details meant to be a different elemental affinity. I'll compare them side by side here. We did this one, which was meant to be a wind elemental affinity opposite the one up top. I'm still not entirely sure if I'm going to do some other ones for the rest of the elements. I might. I don't know if I'll do it on stream, but I've already done two. Might as well do the other two. And then after that, we did this one, which is a bit bigger, but aside from the face, I feel like this one's a little less detailed. And then we did the alts. So not too bad. Three technically. 3 total designs done. I will file these away for future use with something. Alright, let me go and see who is online that we can get ready to raid. Like I mentioned at the top of the stream today, next time I do a drawing stream, we'll go back to doing regular drawing concepts and characters. It was good to take a break and work on a different style. We'll go back and see if we can start moving some of our other projects along. I need to get back to the Monster Hunter fusion we started. Hit a bit of a stone wall concepting out one of the fusions, but we need to go back and get to that. Let's see who's online. Oh, I see Icy Pants is online. He is playing Wilds. Wow, under rank 100. You can go raid Icy Pants. See how the end game hunts are going. Alright, let me get this queued up. Pause the BGM. And go to outro. We will call that a stream for today. Like I mentioned, we should be back tomorrow again, as long as work doesn't catastrophically explode, and we will be resuming our trip through Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Closing in on the end eventually. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll clear the dungeon that we stopped at, and then I want to do some side quests, so might not be a lot of progress tomorrow, but we'll get through some more of the content. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out today. Hope everyone has a good rest of your evening or day respectively, and I'll catch you folks in the next one. Now let's go see how the hunts are going with Icy Pants.